You might want to have, well, always suggest having pen and paper handy. And I will, in particular, want you to have pen and paper today. Hi, Brianna. Welcome. Have you been here before?
Maybe a month ago.
Okay. Yeah, I thought I recognized you, but not a lot. Yeah. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Everybody, whether you're watching live or via video, this is the year-long Miracles course. I'm Lynn Woodland, and I created the course based on my bunch of decades of work, really studying what gives rise to miraculous experience, and then teaching all of us how to how to make miracles something that happens normally. I've written a couple of books, both about miracles. Bill has my first book on the screen now, Holding a Butterfly. And that book is actually written as a miracle experiment. So a lot of people say all kinds of things start happening while they're reading the book. One woman who is showing up regularly from Australia, no less, said she just reads the book once a year because every year there's a whole new little set of miracles that happen. About this course, there's 48 different lessons that each one is different. Each one is designed to be a complete experience and at the same time build upon the last one and the one before that, and one before that. It's set within the context of the 4 seasons because that's a very nice template for all the different phases of growth and human experience, from birth to death to rebirth. And the course in totality, it doesn't have a beginning or an end any more than the seasons do. The whole totality is meant to be something of a modern day mystery school to cultivate spiritual empowerment, spiritual mastery. And it is the kind of thing that a lot of us do over and over because it's different every time we do the exercises. I know as I was going over some of the questions today that I'm going to read to you, I came out in a really different place than I've been in the past, and in a good way. So I feel that I'm a participant along with you as we do this work together. And right now we're in the month of July, well into summer, deep, deep, deep into that hot, everything's growing, flowers and fruit and vegetables, everything is happening now. And consequently, July is the month I like to give attention to prosperity, in particular, money and our relationship to it. And we all know that can be very charged in ever so many ways. And the emphasis of today's session is on unearthing limiting beliefs we have about money and prosperity so that we can consciously choose our future instead of blindly recreate our past and our parents' past and maybe their parents' past. Because no amount of prosperity teachings are going to take root if we're still operating from unconscious expectations and baked in learning about scarcity and money. What we learn about money growing up has a huge effect on us. It determines how we attract money.
That aisle? Okay. Oh.
Hey, Nicole, we heard you. Hi, girl. It determines whether we create prosperity or struggle with money. And just a few kind of well-known examples of learned messages about money might be, you have to work hard for it. nothing comes for free, or money doesn't grow on trees. Or some of us learn, I have plenty of money. I don't need to worry about it. I don't think about it much. Or there's always just enough for what I need, but not enough for what I want. But I always have enough. Or money is the root of all evil. Bad people have the money. It's more noble to be poor and struggling. And if money came easily in your family of origin, and your family never worried or obsessed over it, you're likely to grow up in the same way. Now, if your parents struggled with money, no matter whether they had a little or a lot, or if they overemphasized it one way or another, you're likely to have some kind of struggle as well. And as you look at your experience with money as in your adulthood, notice if the recurring patterns and your attitudes about money reflect something you learned about life early on. Invariably, if there's a situation we've struggled with and worked to change, and still it persists, there's some unconscious payoff keeping it in place. And we've worked with this idea of payoffs for difficult circumstances that we just can't get to go away. We've worked with that idea in greater length in a previous lesson in March. But it's worth reviewing here, particularly in relation to our experience with scarcity. If money is something you've struggled with, there's bound to be some unconscious agenda keeping you from moving forward the way you consciously want. And the reasons for why we might prefer to keep unpleasant circumstances in place are usually hard to see because our attention is all focused on why we want them gone. But as long as these hidden motives remain invisible, they have a huge amount of power to run our lives. They become the circumstances beyond our control that leave us feeling very victimized by life. And once we understand and own our whole range of motives, the ones that say go, as well as the ones that say stop, we have a lot more choice and power to direct our lives. That's a big part of spiritual mastery. When I first started working with spiritual prosperity techniques, this was decades ago, a long, long time ago, I found them to be very effective. In fact, my income doubled in a really short amount of time. But rather than being happy about this, I felt really uncomfortable. I felt awkward and embarrassed at having, way more than some of my struggling friends. I was just in my 20s, everybody was kind of struggling back then. And suddenly I went from being one of them to, woo, I have a lot more money now. Wow, what am I going to do? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I wound up frittering a lot of it away just to get rid of it. I remember being in the grocery store thinking, what can I get for dinner that would be really expensive? So I could get rid of some of this money. I got to get rid of it. And I also felt unable to say no to anyone in financial need and wound up loaning money to friends who never paid me back, which left us both feeling kind of weird and uneasy. And we wound up not being so friendly anymore. And it wasn't, in fact, I really learned from that. Never loan money, just give it away. If you feel so moved, give it away without any expectation of getting it back. A lot easier on both parties. Somebody is unmuted. Let's see who that is. Let's see who a bad girl is. Found it. um, it wasn't until I started realizing that there were some payoffs to me not having very much money. There really were. It protected me from experiencing a whole assortment of uncomfortable issues I had around money. And it wasn't long before I unconsciously disappeared a lot of my new income, not all of it, just enough so that I was more comfortable than before, but didn't have a lot of pesky excess to worry about. And it took a few years of learning how to be a good steward of my money and to feel deserving of the added power and responsibility it brings before I manifested a higher income again. So we're going to do a little self-assessment here to help you uncover any payoffs that scarcity might have for you, as well as issues you might have around increasing the flow of money, even if you don't have huge issues. How would you feel about having a lot more? So this is when you want your pen and paper to make a note of anything that feels like you as I go through these questions. So begin by just relaxing for a moment. Just relax so you can shift your focus. And take a couple deep breaths. Your thoughts slow down a bit, so you get more connected to your higher, wiser mind. It can show you the bigger picture of your life. And reflect now for a moment on your current experience with money. How does it flow? Is it a steady stream? Is it abundant or just a little trickle? Does it come in fits and starts? Do you struggle with there being too little? Do you struggle even though there's plenty? Are you comfortable and at peace with the flow of money in your life? And if you struggle with not having enough money, ask yourself, how might the condition of scarcity be serving you? What's it helping you, allowing you, or forcing you to be or do or have that you wouldn't otherwise experience? So to get specific with this, is financial lack forcing you to let other people help you? Or is it causing you to spend your time differently? Are you receiving attention, either positive or negative, that you wouldn't otherwise get? Are you developing strengths and resources that you didn't know you had? Is it preserving a familiar identity? Is it allowing you to put off doing something burdensome or frightening? Maybe protecting you from failing by preventing you from even beginning. Does financial scarcity distract you and keep your attention away from other things that are even more painful to deal with? Does it keep you isolated so you don't have to deal with the vulnerability, the fear of getting close to people. And if money posed no struggle whatsoever, is there something else in your life that would? Does financial scarcity give you permission to say no? And is saying, I can't afford it, easier than saying, nah, I don't want to? And how are your relationships with others affected by your money issues? Is it a bonding common ground between you and important others in your life? Or does financial scarcity create space? Does it create fewer relationships with more privacy and more time alone? And if this is true, the latter is true, does it offer protection from intimacy and the possible hurts that could happen through letting people in, getting close? So stay with this, because we're going to go in a little bit of a different direction. Say you're very comfortable with the flow of money in your life. Ask yourself, if you had a whole lot more money than you do now, what new choices would you have to make? What added responsibility would you have to assume? What do you imagine the people in your life would think? Are there ways it might separate you from your current community and life? Do you fear you'd lose a big source of motivation if you had a lot more money? And what familiar identity would you have to give up? And what advantages of this identity would you no longer have? How would it change your role in your family of origin? And what would your parents think if you were suddenly way more wealthy than they are or were, even if they're no longer living? If while they were still living, you had suddenly become incredibly wealthy, how would that have felt? Would that have been acceptable to everyone? Or would it have somehow felt uncomfortable to vastly surpass your parents in that way? So now just gently bring your attention back to your surroundings. Just take a deep breath or two. Open your eyes if they've been closed. And now identifying payoffs for scarcity is only the first step in being free of them. Because next, of course, we need to be willing to live without the payoffs. And for me, way back when, that mean I had to be willing to say no instead of I can't afford to. And this what ran really deep for me, because I had a mother who from the time I was 18 and living on my own was always coming to me for money. Financial scarcity was her big life theme. And she could bleed me dry. And it was very hard. It was hard to say no to her. She would come to me in crisis. So I kept myself very poor. Through the duration of her life, I remained very poor. So when she would come to me and she would say, I can't pay my utility bill, I could very honestly say, I don't have it, Mom. I don't have it. I don't have it. And I was being honest. And that extended way beyond my mother, of course. I had to learn to say no, that I don't have to be the bank. And I needed to learn to say, I don't want to go out and do that with you, rather than, I can't afford it. Oh, sounds great, but I can't afford it this week. I can't, I did that all through my 20s because I was a shy introvert, and my friends would say, let's go out and play. And I mean, oh, I can't afford it. Really, it's like going out with big crowds last time. Nah. I never wanted to, but it was so much easier to say, oh, I can't afford it this week. So, if you've identified any of your payoffs, what would you need to do willingly to not need the payoffs? So you wouldn't need poverty, to keep you in your comfort zone. Does anybody want to share anything or ask anything about that before we go on? Did anybody become aware of anything? Yeah, Deb, go ahead.
Can you hear me, first of all, because I'm in a different environment?
Yeah,
everything's good. Okay. All right. So when I was selling my house, because I was unemployed and unemployment ran out, the whole 9 yards. So I was bottom barrel. And so I decided to sell the house to get the equity out of it so that I could live, right, until something popped up. Well, I'm still on the something's popping up, nothing. During that frustration and that decluttering and getting out of that house, there was one night I was alone, absolutely effing alone in that house. And I stood in the kitchen, put my fist on the counter, and said, by God, that is it. I want somebody to come in here and take care of me. I'm done. So during your questions, it hit me like a brick that I asked the universe to bring somebody in to take care of me so I wouldn't have to do it myself. Not good.
Well, maybe you could just be more direct, like universe. Just bring somebody in to take care of me. I don't need it. I just want it.
Well, I don't need him on the money side. I mean, I used to be able to support myself all the time. I mean, it just...
But you know what? You don't have to need to be taken care of to want to be taken care of.
True, but that's not the way I said it.
I know, but that's from your learned crap, right?
It was in a moment of haste. Yeah.
That became conscious. You got taught to survive. I can take care of myself better than anyone.
Yeah.
And you don't need anyone to take care of you, but you deserve it.
Oh, true. I agree with you.
You deserve it, and you want it. So tell the universe that.
Okay. We'll have a little chat later then.
Yes. Yes. Universe, I don't need it, but I want it and I deserve it.
Great. Oh my God.
They're there.
What a revelation. Jesus.
Yeah, it's kind of like, universe, send me money so I can buy this. But if we say, universe, send me this, we'll often just manifest it without needing the money for it. So if you just say, send me my perfect, sugar person who can take care of me like the little princess I've always wanted to be, just because I want it and I deserve it. I've taken care of myself long enough. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My husband is just, he just screamed, "You're welcome." Because I kind of did that. I took care of myself till I was, deep into my 50s. Now I have like a sugar daddy.
Well, it is so easy because then you don't have to negotiate or work with anybody. You can just do. Oh my God.
Well,
I've
no,
got
but
to learn.
it's much nicer. It's much nicer being taken care of because, I can take care of him too. And you
Right?
would probably
Partnership.
be taking care of somebody and enjoy that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be two people taking care of themselves living together.
Right. Roommates. Yeah.
There can be a real equal, we're taking care of each other. And we each
Good.
have different needs for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Once again.
Sheldon, I'm seeing your hand raised. Did you raise it to speak or was that an accident?
Yeah, it's no accident.
Oh, good.
So, well, some of you know I have this 100-year-old duplex or fourplex that I live in and work on, and that's what I do. And I did it for economic reasons, but I found that the thought of like getting a bunch of money, it just kind of actually screwed me up. Didn't happen, but it's like well then, because I shop secondhand to furnish it, and I'm doing the landscaping myself, and I do all this stuff. It's what I do. It's what I like to do most of the time. So, and then the other thing is that if I had money, I think I'd have more stuff, and I don't want more stuff. It's just I have enough. I have more than enough money, but to have an abundance or excess of money, I don't need the thoughts that come with that.
But there's a lot of other things that can happen with money. Money is a form of power and energy. And being someone who I know is a light worker, what would a light worker do with money? Do a lot of things.
Well, if it happens, I'll deal with it.
Well, you might want to just play with that idea because I think it's not just about, do I need more stuff? I don't need more stuff. For you, it might be just an interesting exercise in what would I do with more power? What would I do if I had more power to change the world? Because I think some of what I've learned about you, Sheldon, is that you have a certain way you've allowed yourself to be, and you've been busting out of that. And I think it started with your horizontal connection to spirit. And I think spirit is telling you to bust out some of the other walls. So that might be an interesting thing just for you to play with, not that you need more money. But imagine if God suddenly thrust, say you had an unknown strange cousin somewhere and you were the only relative to their fortune and you inherited it. What would you do with it? How would you change the world? Just play with it. You never know where that might take you.
Money seems such a physical world thing. I think that I don't think I need power there. I think those things just get in the way of our true power.
Well, it depends on your calling. I mean, Mother Teresa didn't live rich. However, she manifested a lot of money and she used it well. That's what I'm saying. Just imagine, what if God called you to live at a higher level of power in the world? Just play with it.
All right.
You don't have to say yes to it. Just play with it. Because I think maybe not through money, but I think you are moving into a higher level of power in the world. I mean, you just got initiated. I remember last week. Anyway, I see Brandon's hand up. Go ahead, Brandon. Look at you all getting so fancy, just putting your hands up.
Oh, you go into the reactions and raise your hand. Oh, I'm unmuted. Hi.
Yeah, I saw your hand up. Was that an accident or for real?
It is for real. Nicole was just
Okay.
asking, she's like, oh, how do you do that? She's sitting right next to me. But I guess what was coming up through that is, I guess, kind of a revelation a bit. I've always, like, with my whole business idea thing, was like, I wanted to make, tons of money so I could start a random acts of kindness movement wherever I go. Just buying little gift cards, leaving them at grocery stores, helping people with groceries, like spontaneously buying them and giving them to the tellers, to the cashiers, and telling them that they can either keep it or they can spread that random act of kindness and give it to somebody else, kind of thing. But then on the other spectrum of that, spiritually, I've always been drawn to St. Francis of Assisi, and it's like that exact opposite, parallel, that sell all of your things, live poor, beg for your money, and I think that's kind of where I've been stuck. Is I've been so used to living quote unquote homeless or in poverty so long that I've taken up that vow of poverty, like the St. Francis, the Franciscans do. They shave their head and they sell all their possessions, and it's like, and with the Bible too, it says to sell all of your things and give it all away and distribute to one another as in need, and money's the root of all evil, and all these things. So I feel like I need to brainwash the brainwashing that I had during my, religious years. Because like in my heart, I want to make a lot of money so I can help other people. Because I'm always asking for help with other people. I want to be that guy that people can come to for help and assistance. But I feel like that underground, deeply rooted vow of poverty that I might have made with God a long time ago is stuck. And beware making vows to God, as they say.
Well, I think there's more than one of us here who has had past lives as a monk or a nun or a priest, or, in some kind of monastic life. Bill says we should imbue money with love and not fear. You are right, honey. So, some of this could be baked in from even a previous lifetime or two or three. Yeah. Well, that's a good introduction to where we're going next.
Oh.
Because we are. Did you have more, Brandon?
That was it.
Thank you. That was a good introduction. I didn't even pay you for it. Maybe I should have. We're going to do some work with releasing some of those patterns around money that aren't working for us, becoming magnetic to true prosperity. Because remember, true prosperity isn't about how much money we have. We talked about that last week. Prosperity is a state of mind that just naturally attracts quality of life of every kind. When we have true prosperity as that internal state, we live well with what we have, and we attract more as it serves our well-being, our happiness, our highest purposes. And as a starting place for this work, I'd like you to identify one or two people who embody true prosperity for you in a way you'd like to emulate. I've mentioned here a couple of my role models in previous weeks. One is Peace Pilgrim, who owned nothing nothing but the clothes on her back and a couple little things like a comb and a pen that she could keep in her pockets. And she felt more abundant the less she had materially. For her, owning anything was like carrying around dead weight. And I also mentioned a massage therapist acquaintance who always had this incredibly gracious lifestyle, no matter what her income was, whether it was lower, whether it was higher. And she saw her financial wealth continue to grow. A lot of it was just from gifts. People just loved her and gave her stuff. Now I want to mention another role model of mine, because this one is very different from those two. One had nothing. The other never had a lot. This one is quite wealthy. It was the woman who published my book, Holding a Butterfly. She changed the name of it to Making Miracles. I changed it back to Holding a Butterfly. But for a while, she kind of stepped back from the publishing industry. But she was the founder, the CEO of Namaste Publishing, which was a very well-respected small publishing company. Her name is Constance Kello. She took all kinds of risks in the publishing business by following her heart and making world service the priority, even more than doing business the safe way, where, by prioritizing profits, and it's all about making a buck. She really followed the path of service, listened to her heart, and she became very successful. I mean, she was very wealthy. Her husband did quite well financially, and she did very, very well. She discovered not just me, but she also discovered Eckhart Tolle, who wrote The Power of Now and a number of other world bestsellers. She really was following spirit. That's how she started her publishing company. Eckhart just came to her and said, I want you to publish my book. And she was a businesswoman. She wasn't even in the publishing industry. She just went, nope. All right. And the two of them just did what it took to publish her book. My book, it just got handed to her by someone, and she really did discover it because I had self-published it. She just loved it. It wasn't, making big bucks, but she really wanted it and felt, this would be her next Power of Now. It wasn't. Or I'd be his sugar daddy, sugar mama. But she, she's been a real role model to me. And all my different role models, they really couldn't be any more different on the outside, yet they share in common these attributes. And you might even want to take note of this, because I'd like you to think of someone who to you has all of these qualities: extreme generosity, a desire to be of service, and a wholehearted appreciation for the abundance of life, meaning not a lot of scarcity struggle. I'll say that again. Generosity, extreme generosity, a desire to be of service, and a wholehearted just love of life in a way that's virtually free of worrying about money. Life is a banquet. It's abundant. Dive in, enjoy it. Those three qualities. And at different stages of my life, different role models stand out. When I felt really fearful about money, I didn't know how I was going to pay my rent or mortgage next month. Because I've done workshops when I was supporting myself. I've always done my workshops on a self-determined payment basis. And that would be what I would live on. And I would never know what I was going to make next month. I never know. I'd have to trust the generosity and the free will of other people. And sometimes they'd really come through. Sometimes there were these little squeaky moments. When I was in one of those squeaker moments, I would think a lot about Peace Pilgrim. I would just really practice seeing the world through Peace Pilgrim's eyes, who found joy and abundance while having nothing. I reminded myself I could have nothing but the clothes on my back. And I could be living my calling. I could be living in joy and abundance, and life could be good to me. I am always safe when I put myself in God's hands. And that would be very, that would really lift me. It would really change my vibration out of scarcity into I am safe in God's hands. And then life would shift. Imagine that. Change our vibration, our circumstances shift. Now, when I focused on growing my writing career, Constance from Namaste Publishing would come up as my role model. I really just start seeing the world as she sees it. So, or at least as I imagine she sees it. So think of one or two people who best fit that model of prosperity for you. And think of it, prosperity in the way you now want to manifest it. If living in the wilds with nothing but the clothes on your back, just walking around talking to people about peace is not what you're wanting to manifest right now, then that might not be your role model. Think of someone who has more of the kind of life you would like to have. And I might add, Constance had a very lovely husband, still does, I'm sure, who was just a great partner to her. And also kind of a sugar daddy in his own right. So, think for you, who would be your model? Now, if you really, really, really can't think of anyone, make up someone. Imagine that person. Maybe they're on their yacht and traveling the world. They're an adventurer. They're doing this and that. And maybe they're doing world tour. Whatever for you would be that person. But see if you can find a real living person or deceased, someone who actually lived in a human body, someone who's wise, abundant, free from struggle and fear around money, who's generous, and who has a love of life. And see if you can think of people in different circumstances who demonstrate true prosperity for you. But in particular, get that one who is your role model right now, who is demonstrating the life you want. And when you've got that person, you might want to just write down their name. Then we're going to do a meditation. So just get quiet and close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths to turn your attention inward. And let your awareness expand to include your higher self, that beautiful, radiant being of light that is your true self. If you all look at Trent's screen, you can see he is totally in his higher self right now. Imagine us all looking like that, just like Trent. We are all just now going into the light, who we really are, the God within us. Because as God, as that spark of the divine, We already have all that we need. Prosperity and scarcity. Scarcity is an illusion of our human making. Our spirit self knows the reality of prosperity. That is our true reality, our true being. And picture now the higher selves of all the others here joining you. And imagine the higher selves of everyone who has participated in this exercise, in this meditation, in the miracles course from years past and even years future, because we know from the far reaches of physics now and the science of consciousness that space and even time is not a barrier to consciousness. So imagine that we are, simply because we're imaginative enough to think about it, to reflect on it, to imagine it, we can join in consciousness in a very real way with people in the past who've already intentionally joined with us. Everybody here tonight, there are 12 of us, and all those souls, those beings of light who will be doing this exercise later, at a later date. There's hundreds, there's thousands of them. And imagine us joining together in a very powerful network to assist one another in healing. Coming together makes us powerful beyond our individuality. Each of us still unique, but amplifying one another, something exponentially stronger in this joining, in this coming together. So just feel the energy of our network building brighter and brighter, a vibration that's pulsing stronger and stronger. And feel yourself held in the loving and the truly blissful embrace of spirit, of the limitless source that is prosperity, that is all love, that is all healing, rocked in it, held in it, breathing it in with every breath. And you see that you're drawing deeply from the source. Doesn't make there be less for anyone else, any more than your breathing deeply robs others of their breath. And you realize that you aren't just being held in this source. You actually are a part of it. You are a part of God. Ever flowing, abundant, never depleted, no matter how much you outflow. So imagine with every breath out, you are breathing the breath of God, just breathing it to others, to the world. The healing breath, the breath of well-being, the breath of joy and happiness. Every breath in, you are drawing all that goodness of God into yourself. With every breath out, you are breathing it out with great joy. And now, when you can imagine this, direct your attention to one person in our circle of participants, past, present, and future. So you don't need to know this person or know their name or know their when or where. Simply let the light of their soul shine out to you and draw you. And imagine that you are this limitless source of God, and just flow or breathe the current of abundant light and life energy to this person. Do this just by using the power of your mind. Your intention makes it so. And this wave of energy you send will take whatever form the receiver most needs. Healing, love, money, prosperity, inspiration, opportunity, peace of mind. Just flow all of this light of God. And know that the minute you are able to really feel yourself flowing love, abundance, life force, easily, joyfully, abundantly, and you give it wholeheartedly, you've already begun to attract the same back to yourself. However you now feel yourself giving is how you are beginning to attract. So let that intention to give in an unconditional way become stronger, genuine, more filled with love. Let it create a new pattern of energy flow in your life. And how you send is how you are now receiving. This is the new pattern. Feel the limitless of it, the ease, the love, the joy. And now that we've prepared ourselves in this way, on many levels, to be truly ready for prosperity, we're going to receive the wise guidance of our prosperity role models. So just imagine a little table with 2 chairs. In the middle of our whole group, imagine us all together in a beautiful sacred arena in the spirit realm. And right in the middle of all of us, there's a place of great light with a little beautiful table, 2 chairs, and you now take 1 chair and invite the higher self of your role model to take the other. And realize that when we do this, we're not dragging souls away from anything important. We're not imposing on their time. Rather, we're expanding our consciousness to the realm where we are all one mind and joined in love with all beings. And to help your personality access wisdom from this realm, we're going to imagine this meeting in a very personal way. So see this individual gladly taking a place at the table with you. Imagine that this soul has come out of love and benevolent concern for you, even if this is someone you've never met. In the realm of our higher selves, we all have love for one another. And realize that this teacher of true prosperity has a very important lesson for you. And now to receive the lesson, put yourself in the role of your teacher. Imagine yourself, actually stepping behind their eyes, stepping into their body, on the other side of the table, sitting in the other chair, looking at you. And as you do this, you also feel yourself step into their life, their being, their state of mind. And just see the world as this person does. And imagine what this person would do in your situation. How they would feel or behave differently from you. Just experience the inner peace this person has around money and the attitudes they have around its flow. And now, as this person, as your role model, give advice to yourself. Share what lessons you've come to offer. And at first it might feel that you're just making it up, what these teachers might have to say. But imagine that this is a powerful doorway into intuition and psychic awareness. So by all means, it's fine to make it up, because before you know it, things are going to start coming that no longer feel like they're coming from you. And if nothing comes in the way of conscious messages at this time, don't be concerned about that. You're still receiving information at a subconscious level. Maybe your role model just touches you and gives you some silent transmission of wisdom where they impart their life experience, their cellular memories. Imagine that, just holding hands with your role model and allowing them to impart their cellular memories, going deep into your body, changing the vibration you put out to the world. This happens wordlessly and with such great love. And you receive. And know that you've received something important, whether it's as yet conscious or not. And this will continue to work within you. Your role model, you can invite them to continue to be around you, to help you, to be there for you to call upon. And now thank your role model for now. Say goodbye for now. And bring your attention back to this network of all of us. Thank them for their help and the greater powers of God, the universe, spirit. And gradually come back to a normal waking state. And from time to time this week, imagine yourself in the role of one of your role models, seeing the world as they do. Ask yourself what they would do in your situation. Imagine how they feel and behave differently from you. And let yourself really experience the inner peace they have around money and the attitudes they hold around its flow. So I know it's a little late. We went a little bit over. So anyone who's got to go right now, that's fine. If you want to say good night, love you all. Don't forget to, let me give the codes for this week. Let me go find that. Because as you know, there's more in the written materials, and you can review all that by going to my website, lynnwoodland.com. Go to the menu bar and and look for the Miracles course option. Click on that. That'll take you to a drop-down menu. Look for the month of July. Click on that. Look for the third week in July and click. That'll take you to a hidden page that requires a code to enter. Third week, the code is 23 capital A. 23 WASH. And if you want to go back to review, the second week in July, do the same thing. The code is 26 capital E, capital C. The first week is 25 capital Z, capital E. Always donate to whatever spiritual center sent you here. It's important. And it's particularly important as part of our prosperity work, because as we set in place tonight, the way we are giving is going to be the way we now start drawing in. First code, Deb, is 25 capital Z, capital E, 25 zebra. So if you got to go, love you guys. By the way, I am open to 1 or 2 new members in my monthly space limited committed Tuesday night group. A little more in depth than we go here. If anybody is interested in that, I'll send you more information about it. Just send me an email. So anybody who has questions, comments, or didn't get a reading earlier and would like one, just hang on and we'll get to it.